Hi, we're Pillow Queens and you're chatting to Milky. We formed the band in late 2016, which seems like a long, long time ago now. Um, the girls had all been friends for years, for like 10 years maybe, and they'd played in bands together. Well, they'd played gigs together before, and then I was kind of the new recruit that they brought on to join their music group. So when I came on board, I was very determined that this next band that we were going to do was going to be a more serious project than anything that we'd done before. Just in terms of how much work we'd put into it and what we'd hope to get out of it. Definitely not our day-to-day wasn't serious at all. But everybody seemed to be on board to make that happen, which was really nice. We all had the same hopes for the band. And yeah, it's just been really fun. I think everybody, when they write a song, wants to tell their own story, at least in a certain way. Um, and I think for us, that our story, because we're four queer women living in Ireland, which has always been a very Catholic society, that was sort of something that was always going to make its way into the songs. But definitely, I think selling or telling a story which was more about celebration than it was struggle was something that was new to us in how we experienced queer stories in media. So even though there's been Irish movies dealing with queerness, a lot of them, or even Irish music, a lot of them have been around kind of negativity or negative experiences. And that just didn't really represent our experiences of queerness. So we were excited to tell this story, which was more about celebrating who you were and living your true self in kind of a new Ireland that was more accepting and just full of queerness. I don't think any of us feel like we are navigating that difficult, or we haven't been able to navigate it successfully anyway. Maybe that's why we named the album In Waiting as well. It's definitely one of the reasons. So we kind of, everybody grows up thinking you're going to have this moment of clarity and realize, okay, I'm not a child anymore. I'm now an adult and I've had all of these experiences which prove that. And there was never that click moment with us. So suddenly we're just like, oh, okay, maybe we're never going to have that moment. Maybe it's just about sort of sliding into that territory and just feeling comfortable within yourself. And I think especially with kind of being for queer women, there doesn't seem to be an exact route to take. So in like heteronormative society, you know, you get married and you buy a house and you have kids and you settle down, whereas like there isn't that expectation with queer life. So you don't really know when you've sort of achieved that level or whatever. So I think that kind of came into it as well. I think if we jumped straight into it, I think we'd still be proud of what we'd put out, but it would have been a very different representation of Pillow Queens because we were a very different band 4 years ago. I mean, in terms of sound, definitely, but just in terms of who we were and the messages that we wanted to convey. So since being a touring band and meeting people from different countries who've had different interactions with our music, we realized that there is a certain sense of responsibility there to represent a group of people that aren't normally represented. So we did go into the album with that knowledge, kind of armed with that idea that there's going to be a mother somewhere or a sister somewhere is going to hear this record and their younger daughter or their son or daughter or whoever is going to come out to them as queer, and they're going to hear the record and think, okay, this isn't a bad thing. Like, they're going to have a joyful and fun life ahead of them. This isn't a negative thing. Because I think a lot of us had that experience where like if we did come out to our parents or whatever, that they were like, oh no, you're gonna have a hard time, this is gonna be rough for you, and then we didn't really have that. So we wanted to tell that side of the story. But definitely sonically playing the songs live has made us realize that we can play bigger songs that are meant for bigger venues. And so yeah, they're kind of less scrappy, there's more chords in the songs. We rent a studio space, which is really lovely. We've kind of done it up ourselves so that it's a comfortable place to be in. We used to rent a place by the hour, and it just wasn't conducive for songwriting because you're constantly thinking that, you know, you're wasting time, or, you know, you need to move on to the next thing or whatever, if you can feel your money dripping away. Whereas we have access to our space 24 hours, and we just kind of head in, and if we spend 10 hours on one line of a song, that's fine, that's okay to do that. So we do tend to do that. We spend a long time arguing over what fits right in a song and what doesn't, and coming up with strange and wonderful lyrics together. But it's very collaborative. It's really fun. It can be incredibly frustrating when you know that you're just about to get a song to the end, but you can't quite get it over the finish line. That can be really irritating. But now, for the most part, it's great. I love writing with the girls. I think I'd pick Handsome Wife. I think Handsome Wife it epitomizes who we are better than any of the other songs. Even though the rest of the songs play a vital part in the album itself, I think Handsome Wife is kind of the mix of all of those songs together. And it's our queer anthem, so we'd want people to hear it. We're quite involved. It's not something we think about when we're writing a song or even when we're recording a song, but when it does come to releasing a song, we don't tend to like to release a song without a video, just because we think it lands better to people when they have something to also watch, so that the theme can be conveyed properly. And I think we all love music videos as well. And we love movies, and we've always wanted to soundtrack a movie. So every time we have a song, we like to soundtrack a mini movie and then release it. So yeah, we do get quite involved. The only one that we weren't as involved with was our most recent video for Liffey, which we collaborated with a Dublin visual artist, but we just loved everything that he's done up until this point, so we just totally trusted that he knew what we wanted. And we talked in depth about the lyrics and the feeling that we wanted to convey, so he really got it. It's the first video that he sent over. We were like, this is perfect. But prior to that, we've worked with fellow queer Dublin artist Kate Dolan on 3 or 4 videos at this stage, and we always just meet up for coffee and go through all the potential themes and visuals and references, and there's nothing that you can suggest that could be deemed stupid. There's every angle is covered, so we love collaborating with her as well. I would really like listeners to want to play music themselves, because that's what music always did to me. When I was really enjoying a band or an artist, I was like, I want to do this. I want to be on stage. I want to release an EP, whatever that is, you know, like, and I would love that to happen, especially to kind of like younger people, if they don't think that maybe they have access to it or whatever, and then they'd come across our music and think like, oh, if they can do it, anyone can do it. That's how we feel playing music. But yeah, hopefully like people really engage with the record, listen to it the whole way through several times, and always come back to it, because some of my favorite records, that's what I do. The CDs are scratched and I've gone through all the lyric books and everything. So yeah, hopefully people have that kind of relationship with the album. Oh, we're definitely planning to tour Australia. I can't wait. It's top of our bucket list, definitely. As soon as it's safe to do so, we will, 100%. A Pillow Queen's live show is emotional. It's exactly as you'd expect it to be. But then we also talk a lot of shit on stage because we use the opportunity of being on stage to just talk and talk and talk and talk. So expect to hear a lot of bad dad jokes from us. Cruel Intentions. Ooh, Pixies. Julia Jacqueline. The Con by Tegan and Sarah. Ooh. Garden Song, Phoebe Bridgers. Miley Cyrus. Now I'm not rapid firing anymore. Best concert I've ever been to. Santigold in Dublin. We supported Soak on their tour in the UK and they brought us along and we played in this incredible venue in London and it was packed and it was huge and it was frightening and it was amazing. Ooh, guilty music pleasure. Westlife. Big Thief. I think when I heard The Con by Tegan and Sarah,